right. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. What's up, everybody? This is an un this is an unplanned live event that I've been meaning to do for some time, but I just wrapped up another live video for my business page, and I said, you know what? Since the hair's done, the makeup's done, the outfit's on, why don't I just come over here onto my personal page and bless you guys with something that's been on my heart that I've been meaning to talk to you about, and that is the empty nester ish. I call it the empty nester ish syndrome. And the reason why I call it that is because, well, let me just rewind a little bit. So, my girls just graduated from high school, class of 2024. Hey, all right, let's go. Oh, the mic. I forgot about the mic. I hope did you heard, just in case you didn't hear anything that I just said, and I'm sure the mic picked it up from where it was at, but I'm just going to go ahead and repeat. Happy Sunday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here just with this impromptu live to talk about the empty nester ish syndrome that I've been experiencing, and I felt led to share this experience because why not? It's no different than any other experience that I've been sharing, and I always feel like I want to share things that I wish I knew when I was, had the opportunity or when I was going through it. So, my girls just graduated high school, class of 2024. Hey, we just got over that hurdle. And if you've been following the journey, you know that I've been sharing my challenges, my wins, some of the excitement, and, some of the things that have been going on during their senior year. And a lot of people have been leaving messages and comments. The engagement has been just so heartwarming to know that people found value in me sharing, especially when I was talking about, college applications or financial aid, etc. You know, just having a leg up on the experience or the process, whether your child was a senior at the time or you're just curious about what that college process is like. So when your time comes, you'll be a little bit more prepared. Granted that things are kind of about the same way. Um, but I felt I would be remiss if I just ended the education and the value adding um, once they graduated because it literally just felt like everything came to an abrupt end. But then people, you celebrate the graduation with everybody, you celebrate if your children are off to college with everybody, but no one shares what is happening in that little purgatory, that kind of interim transition phase where they are leaving you, or even if they're still at home, they are, transitioning into adulthood right before your eyes, and kind of what that feels like. So I wanted to, and that's why I called it empty nester ish, because to me, empty nester means that the little birdies are completely out of the nest. I mean, completely out. That means you can convert their room into the gym or to the office. So we're not. To me, I'm not necessarily an empty nester until the nest is actually empty. But I did want to talk about some of the feelings that come up, or how you can prepare yourself emotionally or psychologically, or just share the experience and you get whatever you get from it. I can't dictate what type of inspiration or not that you'd be getting from me sharing this part of my journey. So let's just take it back to junior year. Junior year, I was extremely diligent about doing research for college, for my girls, so that they can really be set up for success for their senior year. They had put not a tremendous amount of pressure, but it was told to us that the weight of the grades in the junior year was heavily weighted their GPA, their involvement, their participation, um, deciding on schools and such, and SATs. All of that stuff was heavily weighted in their junior year. So it really started then. And when I say stress levels are just the importance of kind of getting these things done so that your children will be set up for success. I think that is when people talk about stress, there's so many different levels. It could be, stress of that, financial stress, financial worry about the future and things like that. I think that all of that plays a role um, in the experience. However, the junior year was so easy, incredibly easy. It was like we were overly prepared for the junior year. We set goals together at the beginning of each year about, maintaining 90 or above or get as high as you can get. Because we knew that, I mean, the conversation was always, there's three ways that we're going to do this college thing if that's what you want. I never forced them to go to university. That's not the route that I took. But I said, hey, if this is what you want to do, there are three ways we can get this done. You can, we could pay for it. Okay. You can get an athletic scholarship, or you can get an academic scholarship. So that was always the conversation that was being had, that if this is something that you want, then, we are limited in funds, for these big name private colleges that are upwards of $40,000 per year. Because I also have two, in case you don't know that about me by now. If you're on my Facebook page, you should know. If if you don't know I have twins by now, I don't know why we're friends on Facebook, because I heavily share the fact that I have twins. But that's not neither here nor there. I just emphasizing that because I don't just have to pay $40,000 a year. I would have to do that for two at the same time. So it was always discussed that if you are interested in going to school, that, consider an athletics, taking your sports seriously, or consider taking your academics seriously, because you would have more opportunity to get funding. Okay. So we definitely set that as a goal, honed in on that. And as a result, in the senior year, they were awarded merit scholarships for their grades. They weren't quite doing the athletic thing, and it wasn't, the other things that I was telling you about. So, one of my daughters top 25, and the other one was right behind her, not too far behind her. So kudos to them. They work really hard to be able to do that. That's not something, I mean, out of 500 students, for you to be ranked in top 25 is a tremendous accomplishment. So yes, I have to, give them some love, give them some props for that. Yeah, so junior year was extremely easy going. So much so, it worried me. It worried me because I was in parent groups on Facebook that where the parents were stressed out. The parents were stressed out in junior year. And I would say to them, girls, I would show them, look at this. This parent said they're stressed. This parent, said this is going on. This parent said that is going on. And they said, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just making up stuff. Get out of that group. That was the advice I was given from my daughters, that I had no reason to be stressed. Those people are crazy. And, because everything was just so smooth. I'm just like, why were people bugging out about this junior year? Oh my goodness. Lo and behold, senior year came, and that's when, you know, stuff started getting a little bit topsy turvy, so to speak. This is when I was being a little bit more relatable to those comments that were in those Facebook groups for the parents that were having that experience. And I kind of wish that I was more prepared for senior year than junior year. I wish I was really, really preparing myself for senior year. So we'll talk a little bit about that, right? So junior year was just a piece of cake compared to what I went through in the senior year. So this is now we're going to start talking about the empty nester thing because honestly, I started to feel it and see the signs happening in the senior year. As a parent, you want them to have an amazing senior year experience. This is going to be potentially their last year with their close friends, being seeing them every single day. You want them to have fun memories. You don't want them to miss activities. All this stuff starts really adding up. But one of the first things I noticed was that, so as a result, they're getting older. They have more independence. They have jobs. They're driving. So little by little, that dependence starts to wear out or wear away. So they need you less. So I think that that's the goal, right? That they need you less. If you're doing a good job, they will need you less. But that doesn't mean that you are not going to feel the fact that they need you less. And I will say in the beginning, I didn't feel it as much because I was still very integrated into their life. I was kind of, giving them props and kudos and clapping for them and tapping, giving them a little tap on the shoulder and, and celebrating them for that independence, right? When it was new, it was like, go girl, you driving, go girl, you got a little job, go girl, that's how it was in the beginning. But as it progressed, you just kind of you needed less and less and less. So prepare yourself. That's the first thing I would say, to prepare yourself for this empty nester ish things that happen, is that if you are a stay at home mom, or you're a mom that's very available for your children, start preparing yourself, not from now, like if they're in preschool or anything like that, but I'm just saying as they start approaching this independence, that they're going to need you less. So that's not the time that you sit around with puppy eyes and staring out the window when they leave. This is the time to start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do with myself now with the free time? Start thinking about, if you're in a position where you're not super busy, and they were taking up all your time, think about what are you doing with yourself now? What are you going to do now that you have all of this free time? So that was one of the first things with the empty nester ish syndrome, is that they needed me less. The next thing is that the college deadlines for the applications, um, let me emphasize the importance of these deadlines, because although I went to all the workshops and listened through a lot of things, and I really prepared myself. I looked at all the parents who had seniors. I watched them, I studied them. I was like, I got this in the bag. But there's one little thing that I feel like I wish I knew, and that is there's a reason for the that people are rushing, because in these same parent groups that my daughters told me they crazy, get out of those groups. Now I understand why they were being crazy. So here's the thing with these early application deadlines, it's all about funding. They run out of money, and they run out of money quickly, and parents somehow knew this, and I didn't know that. I thought it was just a deadline for the sake of having a deadline, right? No, the students who apply early and get their applications in and meet all of the criteria are more likely to get more money when it comes to merit awards. And the same thing with financial aid. People were breaking their necks online at midnight so that they can be the first ones to sign up for financial aid, or the first ones to get their applications in. Okay. It is because of funding. The schools run out of money, the state runs out of money, and we experience that. So, although they were accepted to all or most of the schools that they applied to, not all of them were able to give high amounts of merit awards. That means scholarships based on academics. So, meaning that they got money for scholarships and merit, but it could have been more had they applied a little bit sooner. Not like if the deadline is October 31st, don't be the last one on October 31st. Like as soon as the application's open, put in the application. I didn't know that. Right. So they got accepted, but they didn't get as much money as they could get. And the same thing with scholarships. They run out of money. They run out of money. So if there's a deadline for scholarships, apply as soon as you can. That's one thing I wish I knew, because I understood how important the deadline was, but the other layer of the importance is running out of funding. Okay. So, fast forward through all the senior activities, baby, it adds up. It adds up. And again, I have twins, so it's times two. We had the yearbook fees, we had cap and gown fees, we had senior trip fees, we had all the senior activities times two add up. And it seems like they were coming in every other week. Talking about the funding, got your girl. That's how the money felt.
Dry.
Dried up.
Dried up.
I think I'm having a physiological reaction. So, the fees were coming in. Oh my gosh, there's one thing we have to talk about. Why I think the parents were stressed. And I don't know if this is a Gen Z thing. I don't know if I was like this as a senior. Dad, if you're watching, blow me up in the comments. Okay. I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing, but they were so nonchalant and laid back about everything that was coming up, that was due. I was finding out about things at the last minute. That part was very stressful. The fact that it seemed like I wanted things more than they wanted things. So if it's a Gen Z thing, honey, prepare yourself. Okay. It could have just been in my household. I just wanted to let you know. So let's see. Moving on to prom, graduation. I shared that. That's pretty predictable. It was hectic. Their school decided to do everything on the same week. The prom, graduation, everything, and the party. Everything was all in the same week. That was crazy. But the cool thing about that is that once it was over, it was over. 90, 70, 70, 80, 90% of my stress, it went away like magic, like a magic pill. Like I just like woke up the next day and it was over. It was over. But let's talk about it was over, because now we get back to the empty nester-ish conversation, because it's over, right? The hype, everything you've been working toward, all of the dates, all of the meetings, all of the deadlines, it's over. They've already done their college acceptances, the party's done, the graduation done, the celebration is done, and now it's over. And this is what moves us into that phase where you're able to see that they're doing a lot of things alone. And kudos to you. That means that you've done a good job. You've prepared them to be independent, but just prepare yourself. Then people say, oh, it must be better if they're home. But sometimes I think maybe going away means out of sight, out of mind. You don't see what they're doing. You don't see if they need you or not. Having them close is kind of like you just experience it. You just see that you're just not a part of it. So, with that being said, I just wanted to kind of close out with the idea of this. The reason why I'm sharing this is because if you've been following the journey, then you got to know about this part. It didn't end with the celebration and the beautiful pictures. It's ongoing. And you need to know that if you've done your job, there's a level of independence that's going to start to happen. And that's where you have to prepare yourself for, the next chapter. So you've been seeing me pop out, with the outfits and trying new things. So I'm definitely going to be sharing, in this next chapter. So although I'm still doing the same thing, it's kind of like you do have you're not tethered as much, so the cord is not plugged into as many things, which means you have a lot more free time. But um I didn't want to fall into the um the role of filling up my free time, just kind of arbitrarily filling up my free time with random things. I didn't want to do that. And so I'm very intentional about just really figuring out. I don't like figuring out. I don't like that word figuring out. Just being intentional about how this next chapter is going to unfold and not just putting random things in there to distract me and keep me busy, but maybe there's some things that I wanted for myself that I put on hold because of my children. Or maybe, there's some things that I was refraining from or saving or holding back from because I was, being a support system for them. And now that I have more time, maybe that's something I delve back into. But this is a real topic. This is a real topic of just not filling up your time just because you have time, just being really, really intentional about what you're doing in the next chapter. For me, it's all about um, expanding the impact, making a deeper impact, living more on purpose. I mean, literally what I'm doing, but really just delving into, are there things I was holding myself back from before that I could be doing now? Are the interests still the same? Are the goals still the same? Are the dreams still the same? And kind of really just reflecting and looking into that so that I could have a fulfilling next chapter, continue to have a fulfilling chapter, because my children have been my purpose and are my purpose for so long. And, I can do many things and live a fulfilled life. So I hope that this message um, helped you in some way. Again, I can't dictate if this was an inspiration or not, but I had to share. I had to share that beyond the celebration, there is a transition. There's a time of purgatory where you're in between letting go and moving on. And that's the space that I'm in. And I'm just being very intentional about this next, this next chapter. So I've signed up for very low commitment things like going back to take some advanced classes for hair and beauty and things like that. Kind of looking into my business to see what are the needs of my business. And, so that's the area that I'm working in, being um, deeper impact locally, too. If you need me, holla at your girl locally for impactful things. Not everything. Um, and that's about it. So yeah, I think I said everything. Let me see. Let me go over my notes here really quickly. Yeah, just finding my groove, and that's part of it. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're catching this on the replay, you know what to do. Let me know if this resonated, what part of this video resonated or was helpful, or maybe just drop your girl some tips for this next chapter. I posted my last post said, "What should I call this era?" And I had a few suggestions.
Let's hear them.
Huh?
Let's hear them.
You want to see them?
Yeah, I want to hear them.
Um,
On Facebook?
yes, on Facebook. The I should pull this up, but it's right here. I said, what should I name this era of my life? I said, don't leave me hanging now, looking for some good ones. So somebody said, raising the bar, um, Stacy's pathway to success, taking risk with Stacy. My dad said pre-pensioner. He has to throw a joke in all the time. And then uh, Debbie says the year of the yes. That one really resonated with me. The year of the yes. But can I tell you, the year of the yes is quite intimidating, right? If you think about saying yes to everything. Nobody get funny ideas out there. You know what I mean? But yeah, the yes really means to commit to saying yes to opportunities you'd probably say no to. And, it just opens up the door for more opportunities. And I like that one. The year of the yes. And Chandra Rhimes, she wrote a book called Year of the Yes that I started reading, and I just couldn't get through it because it was just so overwhelming to think about really being that open. That means that you really have no resistance to the things and opportunities that are coming your way. So, um, Shan said, Ben Fly. Yeah, I'm going to call this era Ben Fly. Like, I've been that girl. I like that one too. Just a little reminder that, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. But yeah, so I'm signing out. Thank you so much for tuning in this Sunday to this Unplanned Live. I'm going to leave this up on my page and on my YouTube channel. If this resonated with you, definitely leave a comment and I'll let you know. All right. I'll respond back and rock with you. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Labor Day weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and I will see you soon. Mwah. Ciao. Bella. Well, it's not a touch screen. I touched the chat.
I seen it.
Look at that. I tried to touch the screen.